Hey folks, this is Mike King with Mike King Biz, and the program that we're talking about today is Racing RVA 2020. We have the culture panel with us. We have a group of rock stars here who are definitely making a difference. We wanted to get their take on where we are as far as 2020 goes from a historical perspective. So with us, we have with us Stephanie Bryant. Stephanie, hello.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Look at me. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
All righty, Melissa Chase, good morning. Oh, good morning. It's afternoon.
Like Stephanie, I usually have no idea if it's morning or nighttime or what. All kinds of crazy schedules now.
All righty. So we have Katina Moss.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. Nice to meet everyone who is here.
And Jimmy Budd.
Hey, how's it going? Very nice to meet you all, and good afternoon, everyone.
So give us a little bit of the background where you are right now, and that way we can frame this from a perspective of, and we can dive right into the questions. Jimmy, let's start with you. I know you as the man who's with the businesses downtown, but you're also the force behind Fashion Week. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm the executive producer of RVA Fashion Week, the general manager of 707 Fine Clothing, which is a family-run business since 1978, and a business partner at Vagabond. So really, I'm in the heart of downtown between like 3rd and 7th Street, and I love it. I mean, I know we're in a crazy, time frame right now, but there's still a lot of energy going on behind the scenes.
All righty, thank you. Katina Moss, talk a little bit about where we are, your background and perspective.
I am an educator by trade, and I'm also a consultant. And this is a crazy time for me because it's pulling on so much of my experience and my skill set. But I have to say that I always end up centering on where we are in reference to how we're preparing our young people and how we are facilitating opportunities for them and how we are listening to them as we seek direction and where to go. So I find currently inundated with thought in reference to workforce development, as always, inundated with thought in reference to how to help our children process this time. And so that's pretty much where I've been. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure where that leaves me in reference to how productive we are every single day with all of the recurring traumas that happen and navigating the space of entrepreneurship and building a business. So I'm living in a space that's constantly saying, what type of world are we developing and shepherding and stewarding for our children? So,
all right, thank you. Melissa Chase, so you're part of the media. Talk a little bit about the combination media, mom, where we are these days right now and how you navigate that.
I don't think anyone knows how to navigate it. I think if anyone says like, I've got the perfect plan how to navigate this, they're a liar. Because it is new, it is ever changing for all of us. So I do the morning show, Mornings with Melissa and Jack on 103.7 Play. But in addition to that, I'm the operations manager for our 6 radio stations for Summit Media. So we have K95, which is a country station. We have classic hip hop station, G1043. We have Jack 100.9. We've got sports station. Like we have all different formats. We reach all kinds of people. So in addition to what we create on my own show, I'm also sort of supervising what's happening with all the other shows. And we've got some pretty big responsibility right now to make sure we're navigating things in a way that's helpful to society versus harmful. And some people abuse their microphone positions. So our job is to make sure that we are helping people move in a positive direction.
All righty. Stephanie Bryant, let's talk to you for a moment.
As you know, I've spent 26 years in corporate sales and business development. And about 15 years ago, I transitioned a lot of my career becoming a master coach. So I'm a certified life entrepreneur, brand and individual coach. And what I really do is focus on taking elements of the sales world and applying it to the various aspects, whether you're an entrepreneur that's trying to grow your brands, or an individual that's building a particular brand to take into the market, or a career seeker that's really struggling to develop who you are and what your messaging is. And so we recently, myself and a friend of mine, have developed a strategic resource center for people that are dealing with the disappointments of 2020, whether it's how it impacts their business or how it impacts them individually. It's called the Hustlers Hive. And so we are really focused on the strategic packaging of who you are, and taking, again, those elements of what corporate America does to sell itself to a consumer, taking that and applying it to entrepreneurial, career, or individual brands.
What I sent out the other day was the idea of how has the events of George Floyd affected and created this so that we would end up here, that we would talk about what 2020 looked like from a historical perspective. The sad part is George Floyd seems like forever ago, with all this transpired since then. So Melissa, when you are in the media, how does the media cover the story to be sensitive to the community across multiple different platforms, from country to hip hop to everything that you guys have?
I think it's interesting when you say media. I think media always has a bad reputation because media can mean anything at this point. So it's really up to the individual source of media to provide what that point of view is. I think some of it in radio is that we do have a lot of entertainment value. And so one of the things our job is to do is to be able to entertain and provide kind of an escape mentally when things are tough. But this time, I don't think that we really wanted to go in that direction. I think that it's offered an opportunity for us to be able to be more vocal about racial injustice. I think that this, for us, was the first year where we have made a point, like for Juneteenth, we made it a holiday on air and made sure to have each of our talks talking about why Juneteenth was important and why it should be celebrated. We talk about the stories that happen with our news partners. I think our goal is to make sure that we're using our platform in a positive way to highlight stories that are helpful, to teach people. Even as crazy as this is, there's still so many people that don't know the difference between protesters and rioters. And those are completely different terms. So our job is to take responsibility and make sure that we're teaching people the correct way to talk about things.
That's true. So Stephanie Bryant, let's talk about culture these days from the entrepreneurial corporate side. What's the mood of corporate America?
That unfortunate situation that went down with George Floyd has started to make people that are not directly impacted at the street level start to look at things in a much broader perspective. So when you look at the NBA deciding to protest, it became something that's much more pervasive. So what you see corporately is that conversations are being had, discussions are being held. I've had people reach out to me that want to talk about diversity and inclusion and what the expectations are. They want to be more engaged with Black people and people of color that are working within their corporations to better understand the things that they are experiencing. I think there are more conversations, certainly not as many as should be had, but there are more conversations about microaggressions and the small things that have been experienced in corporate America for many years by Black people. And I mean, just as simple as being able to wear our hair, requiring the Crown Act to be passed in multiple states and things like that. So the unfortunate thing is that the so-called, what I call trauma porn, that we're beginning to live off of, watching people die repeatedly in front of a camera or on camera, is galvanizing conversations in spaces that have often either denied it or assumed that simply because there was one Black body in the room that there was representation being made or diversity being shown.
Educator of the group, where are we from the cultural standpoint of our young people, and what do you think history is going to say when we look back at 2020? Because 50 years from now, the people who are young are going to be in their 50s and 60s and 70s. What do you think that they're going to say?
There is always, in every situation, a defined curriculum, if you will, for what we're to learn. And then there is a curriculum.
Hi, I'm Chef Michelle of Mom Michelle's Cafe. Come and join us and see our new renovations and enjoy some of our Black-owned businesses that we have here. We have Shoe Crazy Wines, Stress Desserts, Dress Desserts, Madam J, and the Dessert Diva. Come and get your love.
Are you single and looking for love? Bloom Matchmaking is the modern way to find love. Bloom will take the stress out of dating. Bloom Matchmaking is a safe, effective alternative to those dating apps. Everyone is vetted and background checked. Your privacy is very important to us. All matches are hand-picked just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-403-8091. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Hey, this is Mike King coming to you from the Lee Monument for Race in RVA 2020. We're here with the CW show that's going to air at the end of September. We're going to have a show on race, we're going to have a show on business, and we're going to have a show on our next generation leaders. So make sure you tune in to Race in RVA 2020. We'd like to thank our show co-sponsors, which are Bloom Matchmaking and Mom Michelle's Cafe. We'll talk to you soon. Mike King Biz here, host of On the Mic with Mike and the Swagger Studio series. The Swagger Studio series, you ask, is a place where we highlight and showcase the best and brightest talent on the musical side in the Central Virginia area. Join us 2 p.m. on Fridays during On the Mic with Mike, where we bring you their stories, their music, and have a ton of fun. Join us during the Swagger Studio series, On the Mic with Mike. Mike King Biz here, and we are out. There you go. That's right. Thank you.
Are you single and looking for love? Bloom Matchmaking is the modern way to find love. Bloom will take the stress out of dating. Bloom Matchmaking is a safe, effective alternative to those dating apps. Everyone is vetted and background checked. Your privacy is very important to us. All matches are hand-picked just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-403-8091. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Hi, I'm Chef Michelle of Mom Michelle's Cafe. Come and join us and see our new renovations and enjoy some of our Black-owned businesses that we have here. We have Shoe Crazy Wines, Stress Desserts, Dress Desserts, Madam J, and the Dessert Diva. Come and get your love.
Curriculum that we teach our children by the world that we live in. It's not necessarily planned, but they learn more from what we do and from what they experience than what we say. And so I think if we're going to really have these conversations, we have to take an honest look at our entire system and be able to say, this isn't necessarily how things have to be. This is how the culture that has dominated has told us that it has to be. And really coming to a reckoning with the fact that a lot of these principles that have been touted as rightness are really whiteness, sure, and that there's really nothing moral about it. And so realigning our moral compass to a place that centers the value of all people. And that's a hard work because I think so many of us are drunk on the deceit of our own goodness. And until we're able to come to terms with the fact that we have been raised in a culture that has been dictated by a culture that came here and took land from people and then stole labor from people. And so, and so much of what we value has been based upon what has been stolen and bloodshed, and that we really need to realign ourselves morally as a nation. And I think that that's difficult because as an educator, I'm looking at how are we stewarding a world that is a world that our children actually want to live in?
That's true.
And so much of what we need to do is listen to them. But I think we need to go back in many instances and re-educate ourselves.
Alrighty, so that takes me right back to Melissa Chase. So Melissa, how do you in your household raise a daughter who sees the Black Lives Movement a moment and turns that into, I have to do something. What were your thoughts when she came to you and wanted to let you know? When we interviewed her, she was like, she asked mom and dad. Talk a little bit about, you just heard what Katina said, and in this world that of the whiteness, how do you raise a child who kind of questions what they see? And the second part to that is this moment going to be different because everybody who's protesting doesn't look the same? You're getting older people, younger people. I saw a poster that said, you know, it's bad when the introverts are out here protesting because, you know, it is different. So talk a little bit about what it meant when your daughter kind of questioned the system.
So in our house, I think that we sort of handled the death of George Floyd and the catalyst that served as in different ways. For me, I felt like it was a very humbling experience because I grew up very colorblind, and I know that word is so taboo, but it's truly how I was raised. That everyone is the same. It's all good. There's no injustices. I'm also Jewish, so for me, I think I looked at myself as being a minority, which now it's not even close to being the same thing. So I think that it was very humbling when George Floyd died, because for me, I was like, I need to do a lot of homework and find out. So I started reading Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between Me and the World. I felt like I needed to better educate myself. But as a parent, I also felt like my job was to not teach my kids to be colorblind, but to teach them to celebrate the differences and what we need to do to make sure everyone gets a fair chance and gets to be equal and is seen as equal. And I also feel like there's an important role for our kids that we have to teach them that you can't stand idly by. We do it with bullying all the time, right? If someone is disabled or introverted or has anything that's different about them and they get bullied for it, we teach our kids, like, you stand up for them, you come to their defense. I needed to be more proactive with my own child about this is also an application to race. If you see someone that is being treated unfairly, or someone makes a joke, or whatever it may be, that you need to step up and say something. That just feeling like everyone is equal because you see the world as equal is not the same thing.
That's great. And what you did was you set the tone, and she really came through. We're trying to raise the next generation of people who everyone doesn't have to look like me or be like me for me to respect who they are and what they do. One of the great things for me, I lived in a college town. We lived at Penn State for 10 years. Young people still believe the world could be a better place. And, you know, I drank the Kool-Aid, and that's why I'm doing this right here. So Jimmy Budd, the crew that you kind of go with is very multicultural. Your partners, talk a little bit about what that means and how that helps you navigate, or you guys navigate through the world these days.
Well, I think with all three operations I'm a part of, because of how multicultural between the business partners and all my directors, I think that, you know, we are able to provide and continue to grow a culture where everyone feels comfortable, whether it's at Vagabond. I mean, Vagabond is a cultural melting pot between all the shows that come to the National and all the events we typically book. It's a mix of everyone. So it's really cool that, you know, everyone can come in there and feel comfortable being around each other, which, you know, in other places, maybe in Richmond, you can't really find that. So for us, I think that that boils down to the staff all the way to the leadership on how we present ourselves and how we want our team to present themselves to the community. And I think that that's been established with 707 with all of our clients. I mean, it's completely diverse, and with Fashion Week, it just gets more and more diverse, I think. So I think we're just in a really great, we're in a great position because we can't get pinpointed for just, you know, only being with one specific group of people versus another, because that's not how we operate.
That's true. All right, folks, so let me ask you real quick, what gives you hope? Jeff B.
You know, I love that question, because I think that, you know, when Obama ran, and it was, you know, the change that we can believe in, the audacity of hope and things like that. I think for me, the place that I really draw hope from is watching the millennials and Generation Z, and them really just reject the premise that they are apathetic about the situation and the world that they live in. I think it's important. You know, I'm a parent of both a generation Z kid and a millennial, and I think it's important that we recognize that we don't take their disappointment for despair.
Sure.
We don't look at them and see them judging the world that we have created and built around them, and make it personal and assume that means that their dissatisfaction means they're going to lay down and die. So I've really been drawing hope from seeing them out there actively marching and protesting and expressing themselves in other ways. Melissa's daughter painting. I've seen young women that have been getting more involved in dance and things like that at some of the Black Lives Matter movements. And you know, I draw hope from a generation of young people that I think really are looking at each other and assessing each other's values outside of, overall, they are assessing each other's values outside of race and gender.
All right. Melissa, what gives you hope?
I am hopeful because I feel that people want to make a change. And I think that people who, everyone's starting to kind of look at themselves and evaluate whether or not they're doing enough. And I see that even little things like parents who are looking at their kids' doll collections and going, all these dolls are blonde and white. We need to add some diversity to that. I see more teachers asking for resources for books in the classroom that are inclusive of more people of color. I see more businesses that are adapting more brands from people of color. So I find hope in the fact that a lot of us are now recognizing that there needs to be a change and finding ways to do it, whether it's a big action or a small action, and trying to do so without the fear of being judged. I think that there's a lot of judgment sometimes, but I think people want to change. And so everyone's doing what they can and how they can move forward in their own way to make a difference. And that's huge.
All righty. Katina Moss, what gives you hope?
What gives me hope? First, I want to say I was trying to think of his name, Ibram Kendi, with the book How to Be an Anti-Racist. I lost his name. I want to apologize for that. What gives me hope always is just the privilege to work with young people and to be able to see how they perceive the world, to hear what they think and what they say, and to know that there's always a generation that's coming that are prepared to lead. So I'm just really thankful that my work enables me to be around young people and to work with young people. And I can continue to be refreshed by their energy and their efforts and their heart. And just the really dynamic and sensible senses of justice that they have and peace for the world.
That's good. Shout out to your guy, Diaz Moore. He was on the business panel yesterday.
Yes, he called me right afterwards.
Hi, I'm Chef Michelle of Ma Michelle's Cafe. Come and join us and see our new renovations and enjoy some of our Black-owned businesses that we have here. We have Shoe Crazy Wines, Stress Desserts, Dres Desserts, Madam J, and the Dessert Diva. Come and get your love.
Are you single and looking for love? Bloom Matchmaking is the modern way to find love. Bloom will take the stress out of dating. Bloom Matchmaking is a safe, effective alternative to those dating apps. Everyone is vetted and background checked. Your privacy is very important to us. All matches are hand-picked just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-403-8091. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Hey, this is Mike King coming to you from the Lee Monument for Race in RVA 2020. We're here with the CW show that's going to air at the end of September. We're going to have a show on race, we're going to have a show on business, and we're going to have a show on our next generation leaders. So make sure you tune in to Race in RVA 2020. We'd like to thank our show co-sponsors, which are Bloom Matchmaking and Ma Michelle's Cafe. We'll talk to you soon. Mike King Biz here, host of On the Mic with Mike and the Swagger Studio Series. The Swagger Studio Series, you ask, is a place where we highlight and showcase the best and brightest talent on the musical side in the Central Virginia area. Join us 2 p.m. on Fridays during On the Mic with Mike, where we bring you their stories, their music, and have a ton of fun. Join us during the Swagger Studio Series, On the Mic with Mike. Mike King Biz here, and we are out.
To
you go. That's right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are you single and looking for love? Bloom Matchmaking is the modern way to find love. Bloom will take the stress out of dating. Bloom Matchmaking is a safe, effective alternative to those dating apps. Everyone is vetted and background checked. Your privacy is very important to us. All matches are hand-picked just for you. Check us out at bloommatchmaking.com or give us a call at 804-403-8091. Bloom Matchmaking, where love grows.
Hi, I'm Chef Michelle of Ma Michelle's Cafe. Come and join us and see our new renovations and enjoy some of our Black-owned businesses that we have here. We have Shoe Crazy Wines, Stress Desserts, Dres Desserts, Madam J, and the Dessert Diva. Come and get your love.
All right, so Jimmy Bud, what gives you hope, man?
I'm gonna piggyback off of Katina. I think, with the youth, there's always hope, especially for them to get re-educated as well as us as we get older. I think that because the movement is so strong on the ground level right now, I think because of that, it's going to breed better leaders for us to actually lead our country in the right way. I mean, really, like we need to breed the best type of leadership possible in order for all of us to unite.
All righty, we got a couple minutes left. Stephanie B., what will history tell us about 2020 with the intersection of COVID, the economy, and civil unrest?
I think one of the major things that we're going to pull away from this is that it's impossible to move this melting pot of a country forward without the inclusion of everyone and without the consideration of everyone, regardless of race or color or these social constructs that we've created. I think what we're seeing right now is that it would be next to impossible for us to survive what we're currently dealing with if we don't begin to interconnect and expose the value that each one of us brings to the table.
All righty. Melissa Chase.
I love Stephanie's answer. That is just, that's perfect. We all have to work together on this. I love that. I couldn't say it any better. It's perfect.
All righty. Katina Moss, what will history say?
I think that history will say that 2020 was a year of significant reckoning with our systems. And honestly, where we are right now in August, and we really only have just about a quarter left, we have a lot more to experience, especially with the upcoming elections, to know exactly how, as a supposed union, we'll respond to the level of challenge and reckoning that we're currently facing. So not to be negative, but I think that there's a lot that we still need to see before we can really speak to all of that, what 2020 has to say.
All righty, Jimmy Bud, close us out. What's history going to say about 2020?
History will say that for 2020, humans definitely have a whole lot of work to do.
All righty. Hey, I'd like to thank you guys for jumping on. I really appreciate it. Steph B., Melissa Chase, Tina Moss, Jimmy Bud, you guys are rock stars, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate
Thank you, Mike King.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Katina, Steph, very nice to meet you. Melissa,
Nice to meet you.